Y'all know what it is. It's the Find the Boxer game. Purchase a box for a chance at winning $500. One of 54 boxes has a missing boxer inside. Purchase your box or boxes by Cash Apping $ usual 50/50. Include your box number, name, and email address. Your box number will be confirmed and sent directly to your email. Each box is $20 with a 1 in 54 chance of winning. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDBC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDBC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect day.
Y'all know what it is. It's the usual suspect 650-50 draw. Buy your tickets now for your chance at winning half the pot. Cash App, $ usual 50/50. Tickets on sale for $10 for one, $20 for 3 tickets, and $50 for 10 tickets. Put your desired amount, name or alias, as well as your email address, and your tickets will be set. We announce the winning ticket numbers every other Friday on Supreme Beats Boxing Talk Bullshit on the Beltway, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDBC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDBC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect day.
The weight enough flex. The live is 1 in the 6. With the runner boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
We're gonna get right into the business. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. We're gonna talk some boxing this evening, but I brought somebody with me, someone you might know. He's bound to wreck your body from the tip of your toe all the way up into your last hair follicle. Hey, it's me, the diabolical. My brother Thomas from the Bronx. You on mute, brother. What's good?
What's good? What's going on, Stormy? What's going on, Drew? How's everything look? I'm repping both channels today.
Oh, that's what's up.
Right?
That's what's up.
How you doing? How you doing?
How you doing?
Salute to everybody in chat, man. I'm gonna skip the roll call because we're gonna get right to the business. Man, salute to y'all. I appreciate y'all. We had a excellent event on Friday. I couldn't make it because I was on the plantation, but my boy from the BX represented. Salute, man. So I'm gonna go straight to Thomas, man. Your experience with the event, presentation, the stars that came out. What'd you see?
Well, it was definitely, as far as me getting credentials and covering fights, this was definitely the biggest one. They confirmed that they sold out. Yep. Everybody filled in towards the end, and probably had a little bit extra in there too because they comped a lot of people to come see Keyshawn and Xander in the last 2 fights. A lot of stars was there as far as current fighters and former fighters. You know, Shannon Briggs is always there, so Shannon Briggs was there. Shushu Carrington was there. Even Richard Torres was there. You know, you had Winston and Yandel, you know, the artist, the Puerto Rican artist was there. You know, Amanda Serrano. I mean, it was live, you know. So the only one that wasn't there that I was shocked was Loma. I did not see Loma, but his coaches were there and his peoples were there. So, but that was the only one that I thought would be there, and he was not there. And of course,
he would have to answer some questions, but yeah, I know why he wasn't there.
And of course, Theo did not show, who always shows up for the anything in Madison Square Garden, and as usual, he did not show. After he said what he said the last time I spoke to him in September at the last event, you know, he said some craziness, and I think I shared it with both of you guys, where he was talking a little crazy, as he's been talking crazy on the internet, but I made a comment out loud and I said, I give you props because you say a lot of craziness and things, but you show up at these events. You're always outside. You always come in. And then it was an awkward moment where he kind of like looked around, and there was one guy, one of the press guys, And when I say press guys, because there's no real press anymore, really. It's all social media people, pretty much. YouTube, Fight Hype and Fight Hub and stuff like that. But one of the guys just like turning the cameras off the record. And it was very awkward and just weird because like he kind of checked me.
He turned the camera off and said off the record?
No, he one guy, he wasn't Tio, it wasn't him. It was another guy that said turn the cameras off, don't, off the record, just say off the record, like why, And Tio looked around and whatever, and he's like, because the reason why, why I do that? The reason why I go around and I show up because ain't nobody gonna do anything to me. And you know why? Because they know that if they do anything to me, and he went like that, and then he paused, and then he said, and everybody in their family will be eliminated too. And I was like, oh wow. And it was just like, it was just an awkward, weird moment. People was just like kind of like whatever. So, and then go figure, he wasn't there. He wasn't there this past Friday night. So
yeah, because Bud was there.
Yep.
And Keyshawn was there, and his brothers was there. So everybody was there. Papoose was there. Wasn't
Clarissa Shields.
Clarissa was there. So
they were sitting in the same row as me. It was Clarissa Shields and Papoose was in the same row as me because I was in ringside. So they were sitting me, and Bud was like a couple rows in front of me. Mm-hmm. So and everybody was really friendly and really outgoing, and they had a moment.
Strong, right?
Huh?
Virginia was in there strong, right?
Virginia was in there really strong. They had 2 buses from Virginia, so about 50 people each. Wow. So that's 100 people, and then they had their little van, which carried like the family and stuff. He had his baby was there, like in the front row. They were passing him around. His brothers were there. And obviously one of his brothers performed. Keon was there. He had a great performance that night. He made his second pro fight. So no, it was a special moment. And I didn't find out about this until like an hour ago. Somebody made a bet with Keyshawn too, said that he would cry. And he was like, I ain't gonna cry. And he didn't. They had to do like 10 or 20 push-ups in the hotel room, and I think he filmed it. So I don't know if Keyshawn goes live on Instagram a lot, so I don't know if he's gonna show it, but they filmed him doing the push-ups because he didn't cry. But he's really down to earth, and I think he's a good person. Ever since I met Keyshawn in Jersey, he was talking to everybody like freely, and he was out, and he did the same thing this press conference also. It was a little awkward because of what happened with the box, and he came late to the press conference, and they were kind of stalling, but he had a good time with it, and the weigh-in, I thought the weigh-in was very impressive because in the weigh-ins, a lot of these guys don't want to talk to you. They want to leave right away. They go, they want to rehydrate, they don't want to be bothered, they don't want to talk to anybody. But the last 2 people that left that day on the weigh-in, way after the weigh-in was over and way after they kicked everybody out and they were just hanging out in front, was Keyshawn Davis and the guy that was fighting Xander Zayas. They were all just hanging out in the front, calm and, no rush to go anywhere. So that's how I know, like, those 2 guys definitely made the way comfortably and, they weren't suffering or anything like that. So,
that's good to hear. That's good to hear that he's in touch with his audience. It's good to hear that it sounds like that he provided some transportation for the people to come up to support him. That's great to hear. I liked his temperament even at the weigh-in, at the presser the day before that with the fruits and vegetable incident. He remained calm. And like I said, it's no wonder Teofimo didn't show up. He's a coward. He's a coward. And that's why I told you at the last event when you spoke to him, when you invited me, I told you I can't go because you know why I can't go.
Yeah.
If I was standing there, he wouldn't have said any of that.
No, he definitely would have. No.
And I'm not saying that like on some gangster stuff. I'm just saying when you said off the record he has to look around before he says something, that tells me everything I need to know. Yeah. In fact, he probably wouldn't have stood there with me standing there because he don't want to talk to me because of my chocolate melanin skin. Wait a minute, YouTube's about to buzz me. I just said something about my skin.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Miguel.
Miguel!
Bastard sinner. Well, anyway, but that was dope, man. I got every picture. You sort of I don't know how Mr. Shelton does this. Did you see what he?
Of course, I see what he did. He tags me on it. He tags me on it. Everything.
He took a picture with Bomac, right? And Mr. Shelton did something. I don't know how he does this, man. I don't know. It's Bomac and Thomas taking a picture, and out of nowhere, a bag of cheese doodles pops up. I was like, how the hell did he do that? That was crazy, bro. That was crazy, man. Shout out.
Did you see the one he did with me and Tim Bradley?
With the chicken?
Oh
my God, man. I had tears coming down my face, man.
You know, and I saw Tim Bradley, and I just like did a double take because that was in the back of my mind when I saw Tim Bradley, and I shook his hand and said, "Hey, what's up?" And I was just trying to get away fast, and then he kind of held me and said, "What's up?" And then he like hit me on the show thing, and I was like, "What's good?" And then I kind of left because it was in the back of my mind. The video
like, yo, when did this happen? He'd probably started tap dancing in front of you. I don't know. Let's see if it happened again. It smell like butter and biscuits. Did he smell? Nah, let me not. Let's talk. We're talking boxing here. Let's talk some boxing. So it was a great card. I came home, had to rewatch one of the fights. So I guess we're gonna start here. We're gonna give Jared Anderson his report card right now. I give him a negative Z.
Jesus.
And I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, I'm biased because I'm not a fan of his. All right, so let's any Anderson fans, any Big Baby fans, all right, you can click the X button, the back button, do not recommend, the thumbs down, whatever it is you want to do. I don't deal with that kid. And if you follow my channel, I'm very adamant as to why. But let's talk about it. He won the fight, but did he win in a fashion that he was supposed to win? Because prior to the Bacoli fight, he was on the pedestal. He was next up, wasn't he? This was the next American heavyweight, and I'm not impressed. So I'll just start off by saying that you were there, Thomas. Tell me what you saw.
He didn't look, like he was really interested to be there. To be honest, I mean, he didn't show up at the press conference.
Whoa!
Yeah, he was not at the press conference. He was not around. And then obviously he's at the weigh-in because he has to weigh in. But he kind of was stood to himself. He had his little crew. Jay Prince was there. Jay Prince was more active talking to people than he was. He came up to everybody, shook everybody's hand. Jay Prince was cool. And the reason I mention that is that, Jared Anderson, the fighter, people paying to see you, wasn't really social. Like he was just like kind of self. He looked big. That was the biggest. And then he weighed in. That was the biggest he's ever been. I think he weighed like, I think 256 or 256 and a half. And that's the largest he's weighed in for any fight. And he looked sluggish in the fight itself. He looked frustrated. I thought he boxed a little bit well when he wanted to, but he was a little lazy. He was getting hit with all sorts of hooks. If that guy had any bit of power, he would have got him out of there. He couldn't miss a hook. Like, he was landing. And then, Jared got frustrated in that last round and like tackled him down. So I don't know if y'all seen that. Like he tackled him down, and it was hard. Like it was a vicious tackle. Like you could hear it and everything. Like, And then, and you think about it, the last 10, 15 seconds of the fight, that guy was throwing shots at him, and Jared wasn't doing anything. So that he won the fight, but the last moments of the fight, his opponent was wailing at him on the rope. So,
was his security dog there?
No, I didn't.
What?
I didn't see the security dog or his. I don't know what they call it, but yeah, he didn't. It's a support dog.
Yeah,
he didn't have it. I did see a dog there, but apparently that was Keyshawn's dog. But I don't know if that was a support dog, but I did see a dog there, but not Jared Anderson.
I know what's wrong with these kids, and they need security. They can't be this crazy. This is
I swear to God. I wish I should have took a picture of the dog.
I can't.
Yeah, I should have.
Stormy, your thoughts on Big Maybe?
Well, listen, man. When I say things regarding sensitive subjects like this, people get in their feelings and they get hurt by it and everything. But all I can say is buy a box of Band-Aids, because this guy is done.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear what I said?
Mm-hmm.
He's done. There are some, it's a slow burn. Then there are those others that it happens overnight. This is neither. It was coming on the whole time. We just weren't, some of us just weren't paying attention. Coming out with those so-called themes, the address, the wardrobe, coming to the bouts and everything, it was a game. It was a show. The serious stuff was supposed to take place in the ring, and it never did take place in the ring the way it was supposed to. A couple of fights before he fought Prince Charles Martin, I forget the young man's name. I think the guy was a former cruiserweight or something, and they were going at it. And the guy tagged him with a couple of really good shots. And he didn't respond properly. It's like he just kept waiting in, I'm just going to overpower you, that kind of thing. When I saw that, I was like, okay, he doesn't have proper boxing abilities, skill, preparation. It's like that is something that new guys do. That haven't been really schooled up in the sport yet and everything. It was something, it was really a weird thing to see. And of course, the guy wasn't strong enough to hurt him, didn't have a punch that was enough of a threat to him. Right. Just like the guy he fought last night. And the difference in last night's fight was he was so mentally disengaged from the bout that they brought a man in who couldn't knock him out, but he damn near won himself because of the mental deficiency that Anderson brought. He was pouting like a grown adolescent.
That's right.
Through the entire process, pouting. The corner man is talking to him and stuff, and he's kind of disengaged, looking away, and just and in that 10th round, when he threw the guy to the canvas, I was like, that should have been point deduction there. It's a foul. He was walking around in between, the bell. He's staring off into space like, I ain't got time for this. It's like, really, dude, we've seen this stuff before in different situations with different fighters, but it comes down to one thing, and that is someone who is mentally unfit to be participating in a sport like this, because this is entertainment. It is called sports and entertainment. People pay to come and see these guys. Mm-hmm. I am not going to spend my hard-earned dollars to see someone perform like him, or someone who has an attitude like him, or to see someone check out at any given moment just because they don't feel like playing today. No. And, I've said this about this Jay Prince. You guys may know of him more than I do. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, he may have certain types of influences, but where's the influences to mentor properly and tell someone that is falling off of the board, get your ish together.
Right.
Be a professional. Enabling is not going to help. And you're going to have more people follow this lead than the opposite.
That's right.
I don't have time for that type of foolishness at all, man. And what's lastly going to be, he's going to be a representation of black fighters.
There you go.
And he shouldn't be.
That's right.
And he shouldn't be. That's why someone should be saying, like what I'm saying, against this. Get him the hell out of my sport. And anyone like him, or pampering or catering, pandering to that, get them out of here. Those are my thoughts.
Salute to Mr. Shelton in that super chat. Much love. He says, but I'm 23. Now, let me give you guys a background. Everything the sensei said is 100% factual. The reason why I was never high on this kid, he has a look about him. He's about 6'5". You know, he has I would assume you can't train anyone to be that big. So I would say he's a bit of a natural athlete. I'll give him that. The problem I had with him, number one, we mentioned Jay Prince. I didn't like the presentation. What audience are you trying to reach out to when you're sending this young man, this young black man, to the ring with pimp hats and canes, with jail attire, walking to the ring? Who are you reaching out to? Who are you trying to? You're not trying to, because you know my uncles and my dad, and they don't watch boxing like they used to, but every now and again they say, well, who's this guy? Who's that guy? And it's embarrassing sometimes when they ask me, well, what's going on with this guy? Not who is he, but what's going on with him. All right. My uncle, who's in his 80s, who knew Sugar Ray Robinson right there in Harlem, knew him personally. One time he asked me, what's with this kid? And I look on his cell phone, and it's Jared Anderson walking the ring with that damn hat on with the pimp cane. And I said, oh, no, that's I called him a prospect. And that's what he was. He was a glorified prospect, cooking on fights we knew he was going to win on ESPN, until he got into that fight with Charles Martin. And I told everyone then, Charles Martin took that fight on 2 weeks' notice. And he was supposed to get Charles out of there in about 1 to 4 rounds. And there were spots in that fight, especially I think round 10, when Jared got on the back foot because Charles knocked him into it. I didn't like what I was seeing. And I said, that's a problem, because Charles was clearly out of shape. He was huffing and puffing by the end of the second round. His ring IQ and his experience carried him all the way to the end of the fight. And Jared, I didn't like how he looked. I said he was supposed to get this guy out of here. And then they gave him 2 ham and eggers, which he carried. And then the Bacoli fight happened. When they signed to fight that Bacoli fight, I said, this is not good. If he has another gear that we don't know about, we're going to see it. But I don't think this is a good idea. And bing, 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 ricochet rabbit. He looked like a pinball in that fight. But let me take it a step back. I knew there was something wrong with him when I saw him in Vegas. Me and Focus Ball was in the MGM Grand, and I'm sharing this for a reason, y'all. Because when you see a fighter and you can size up a person on site, that a lot of that will tell you what you need to know about him. I saw 2 people that was on the Wilder Fury 3. There were 2 people that were on that undercard. And when I saw them in person, I said, you know what? They're giving me a bad vibe. I better not speak to them. The first person we saw was Jared Anderson. And Focus Ball said, yo, there go Jared Anderson. And I grabbed him no. Because he had this bugged out look on his face, and he was speed walking like he didn't want to be bothered. He was eating some French fries, and I could see all of his pupils. I don't like a person when I can see all their pupils because they look like this. I'm like, what the fuck? I said, what is wrong with him? I said, there's something not right with him. Then I found out then the Roy Jones Jr. interview happened. When he starts crying, I'm only 23. I said, uh-oh, what's that? And Roy ended up, when he thought it was going to be an interview, he ended up giving him a pep talk. Shout out to the Painful Excellence podcast. He ended up giving him a pep talk. And I know that he didn't think it was going to turn into that. Then he's getting into high-speed chases with the police. Remember that? Right? Then he's in Fury's camp prior to that. And then when they said, oh, we stopped the camp because everyone caught COVID, he's on social media. We're asking him, yo, are you okay? And he's like, what are you talking about? Everybody got COVID. I don't know. I don't have COVID. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. He was doing that online. I said, wait a minute. The camp's closed. Are you sick? He never gave a straight answer. And I said, why is this little boy playing? The word is you was whooping on Tyson's ass. That's the word. And he wouldn't give a straight answer. Yeah, let me hit the soundbite for him.
Stupid butts.
Right.
Hey, Thomas, didn't you see him how he left the ring after the decision?
Yeah. He didn't want to talk to nobody.
Man?
So he don't show up to the press conference, and then after he has a lackluster win, he don't want to talk to nobody. After the Charles Martin fight that he won, he's in the back crying on his mother's bosom with a dog running around with a coat on. I said, what the hell's going on here? And then people told me he has mental issues. Yeah. I said, you know what? Let me dial it back. The kid said he wanted to get out of the business by the time he was, 27?
26, 27, something like that.
He never mentioned being undisputed. He wants to get his bag. So this is what I'm saying, y'all. I just said it about light skin from Baltimore, and I'm saying it about him. And this is becoming a theme with guys like that are celebrated but are not that good. Boxing is not the type of game where you could. First of all, it's not a game. This isn't a sport we can have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He's not talented like that. Okay? If money is what you want to make your 5-10 million, get out. Because now he's a father. Get out the game, man. Because it's become very clear that he's not mentally fit to do it. I don't trust him to carry the American heavyweight flag. I don't trust him for that. And I don't trust him to do the right thing by himself. I don't like what I saw last night. Get out the game, dude. And it's okay. I just want to see what we had, and I'm not impressed. Bakole kills his kid last night. Plus, he was overweight. Bakole, a rematch, Bakole kills him faster. He's learned nothing. I don't know who that was in his camp that trained him, but you don't come in at 250. You're at heavyweight. You shouldn't be trying to come in super big. That was stupid.
Isn't he supposed to be trained by Sugar Hill? Apparently he had an emergency or something and he couldn't make it.
Sugar Hill had an emergency. What was that
supposedly,
emergency?
That's what I'm hearing. So
Look.
So he has the other guy that he trains Tiger. I can't get his name right now.
You heard he had an emergency and couldn't come to New York?
That's what I'm hearing. I don't know how true it is. That's what I'm hearing.
I don't know how long that emergency was, but
yeah,
you don't be in camp and then come to fight night at 250. That is ridiculous.
I will say this about Jarrett, and Top Rank, because and Jay Prince, those guys. Top Rank Jay Prince has a lot of money, obviously, and then Top Rank, obviously, they invested a lot of money in this kid. And I say kid because he's still, he's a kid.
He's calling himself Big Baby.
Yeah, Big Baby. So he's a kid. Yeah,
he calls him Big Baby.
Yeah. So I think Top Rank, they always put their money into a guy they feel like he's very talented, and I think there has been signs of the talent, I guess, in sparring and other fighters, because he supposedly he gave Tyson Fury good work, and he was beating Tyson Fury up. I've heard another rumor where he sparred Ali Feliz, who's a younger prospect, who's also backed by Top Rank and Prince, and he gave him the work. So it just hasn't shown on the big stage yet. It hasn't shown in the actual fights.
I'm
not sure if he wants to even fight anymore. If they're forcing him to fight, I don't know.
You know what? This is how soft he is. When they do that, he's gonna feel that way. But he wasn't feeling that way when he was knocking out less competition. You see, now he's fighting his contemporaries, and he hasn't fared well.
Yeah. And if they've invested money in him, he's gonna have to fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now think about the top. Never mind the top. Let me ask you, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I just talked about the heavyweight division a couple of days ago, and I only stayed on the British heavyweights. I don't see him doing any of those guys any damage. Any.
No.
None of them. And I'm not even talking about Dubois and AJ. Look, AJ whoops his ass. There, I said it. AJ will whoop his ass. Who's he beating? He ain't beating Hergovich.
No.
He ain't beating. Name him. What's that
He
kid?
may not.
I don't know.
Jermaine
Could he beat a guy like? I mean, and props to Top Rank because I just heard they announced his fight. Richard Torres, who they put a lot of money behind him. You know, an Olympian. He's fighting Guido Villanello. That's a big fight. That guy. I don't know if Jared Anderson beats Guido. Right? You see, Guido's a tough heavyweight. You know.
Yeah.
Guido's tough. He almost beat Nick Jabba. That was a good fight. That was a really good competitive fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Vito comes to fight. You know, I don't think he beats him. So shout out to Top Rank for making a fight with Richard Torres. They want to see if he could, you know, step up and fight him. I think it's a bad matchup, but let's see if Richard Torres is good.
It's not that Jared, and I see the brothers and sisters in the chat. My opinion on Jared Anderson is that it's not a physical thing. It's a mental thing with him.
Yeah.
He's a big, strong kid. If he punches you in the face, he's going to knock you unconscious. But what the problem is, now he's facing people that hit him back. That's it. That's it. That's how you stop a bully. You'd be amazed. And Bakoli went in there and whooped on him. And that mentality carried into his next camp. He comes in overweight at 250, right? And he was supposed to beat this guy to a pulp. He couldn't do it. Yeah. And it's playing on him. What he needs is a good psychiatrist, or if he can't fix what's going on in his brain, get out. But didn't Bob Arum say after the Bakoli fight, he said, my matchmakers didn't do that. We would never do that. Yeah. He told you the truth right there, that this kid wasn't ready, because every time we saw him on ESPN, we knew he was going to win. But that Charles Martin fight, if y'all haven't watched it, go watch the Charles Martin fight. That told you, I said, I knew it, man. This kid, he was calling out Deontay 2 years ago. Deontay would have killed him.
Check this out. When you think about it, the Martin Bakoli fight shows the slippage from when Anderson was in a prospect stage to where he is presently. The guy that he fought Friday night, Colias or whatever his name is the type of opponent that they had been having him face prior to Charles Martin. Same type of opponent. And he was beating up those guys. Mm-hmm. What has transpired that he has slipped so far the other way that he can't now even get through a fight with a guy like that? Being mentally on point, physically on point, and being able to execute a game plan as a fighter going into a match to do away with the other person. You see, these are signs of screaming, signs of help.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody paying attention. And they just keep shoving him out there and shoving him out here. You're going to see worse and worse performances. You might see a blow up. You might see an innocent victim victimized as a result of his actions because he's not on the level psychologically. And I'm going to tell you something. It could happen. You could be out in a public place and space, and he'll be there, and he's ordering a large order of fries. And somebody say, well, dang, bro, you're a professional fighter. You shouldn't be eating like that. Fat! He knocks the guy out in public. And it's like, what happened? You see what I'm saying? And yeah, you can laugh, but I'm telling you, these things happen. It ain't new with him. We have a laundry list of fighters prior. Two names that come to mind right away: Riddick Bowe, Oliver McCall. Yeah, guys being put in to fight when they shouldn't be fighting because they're not mentally set. You guys may not remember this, but Riddick Bowe just quit boxing and signed up for the military.
I remember that.
He couldn't even get through boot camp.
Yep.
They had to dishonorably discharge the guy because he was having mental issues. Then he was taking his family by armed force and everything like that, hijacking their lives and stuff. It's like, and this is the same guy that fought the war with Holyfield to become undisputed heavyweight champion at the age of 25 years old. I've watched these things happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, and this guy hasn't even made it to the rung of contention for a title, and he can't handle it.
That's right.
When he was crying in front of Roy Jones Jr., listen, if I was Roy, I would have told the people, don't air this.
That's right.
Don't air this.
Right.
I want to take some time out and take this young man and try to help him, because boxing is the last thing he needs right now. But did he do that? No. You know why? Because, and Drew knows this because I've talked to him behind the scenes. I've always said, boxing is like a fraternity, right? Like a fraternity. But it's still every man for himself.
Yeah.
And they will eat off of your carcass just like you're expected to eat off of someone else's.
That's right.
Wow.
And that's not a good thing. Mike Tyson once referred to it as the peddling of the flesh. Yeah, that's what it is. And it's a cold reality. Nobody wants to know. And then when I sit here and I say these things, as people sit back and they look and all that, you can do all that all you want to. But there is history of all of this foolishness going on, and it's going to continue.
It's going to continue.
Yeah.
It's sad, man. It's sad. And I say I don't like Jared. I don't know him personally. I didn't like his moves, and it annoyed me. And I'm watching it unfold, his behavior spilling into the ring. And this was not a bad night for him. It's going to be typical in a minute. It's going to be typical. If his mind's not in it, the guy has a security animal, y'all. He has a comfort animal, because he gets depressed. He has a comfort animal. I'm not kidding. I didn't know that dog walking around on ESPN, one of the queens of the ring, I think Nick J said, no, that's a security dog. I said, what do you mean? A comfort animal. Like when someone gets depressed and they walk around with a cat or a dog. I said, was he in the military or something? No. He got mental issues. I said, oh, man. And when he beat Charles Martin, when the program was over, you see him leaning on his mother, and his mother's holding him like a baby. And I said, wait a minute. That kid ain't right. And I immediately thought, I said, man, when I saw him in Vegas, I saw it on his face that there was something wrong with him. The other person I saw, and it wasn't a mental thing, it was I think he thought he was more than what he was Edgar Berlanga. And I said, better not talk to him, because it's before the fight. He might be trying to go get to some food. And if he says something crazy, I know my mouth, I'm going to say something crazy. And I ain't even on that type of time. But him, he looked out of it. He looked like out of it. But
and apparently he's been around, some very terrible things. I think he has a brother that's doing like 20-something years in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot going on, and this is a sport that's, it's brutal. You're getting hit in the head. It doesn't help.
Bro.
And it's not just the fight. You're talking about sparring and all of that, and that doesn't all add up. This may not be a sport for him, and it almost seems like he's being forced to do it.
Why do you think I said you got a person like this Jay Prince guy who's supposed to be managing him? You can't identify that you got a person in your stable that is unstable and that he needs far more than the sport of boxing in his life at this time. Is the money that much to you and your organization? Mike Tyson said it's the peddling of the flesh.
Yeah.
But this mom that he lays his head on her bosom, is she so sold on into it that I got to push my son because this is the way for him to make money?
You bought her a house or something.
He could make money driving public transportation or the public rapid transportation or something like that, delivering mail or something like that, where he ain't taking blows physically.
Mm-hmm.
And those are jobs that he can do that can still have him a good quality of life. Where is the consideration for the individual? I told you, I'm very consistent when it comes to this. And I'm not trying to make fun of this man.
Right.
But I know that the ring is the last place he needs to be. When I saw his behavior Friday night, I'm like, I seen this show before.
That's right.
And he jumped out of the ring. He got the victory, and he jumped out of the ring, marching to the locker room like a scorned girl or something. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he left. He left. Period. He didn't stay. He left after that. He was gone. There was no sight of him throughout the event, and he was the second fight. So, and a lot of his trainer was there. He was, there hanging out and watching the other fights. But usually the fighters, they stay and they watch the fights. He was nowhere to be found. And Nico Ali was too, but that's understandably he lost. So yeah, they were gone.
Notice
and that's another story to pair with Jared. Why are they trying to force this kid in this profession, and he's not good? He's not good. There are fighters whom he's taking up a space for that are better. And they keep putting him on television because of the family name. If you ask me, you're disgracing the family name.
Thank you.
Because this kid don't have it, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Even Ed Hearn said that what's his name? Ricky Hatton's son.
Not Matthew. His son. Yeah.
Yeah. Hatton's son. When he fought that last fight that he fought a few months back, and he lost because it was a rematch with a guy that had beat him, edged him out, and he lost decisively in the second fight. Ed Hearn said, well, maybe it's time to think about doing something else. That's what he said. And even though it could sound hurtful, because the dad is a UK Hall of Fame fighter.
Yeah.
The son can't cut it. I'm sorry. That's it. It's like, just tell the truth. And then he could get on with his life. Nobody's going to make fun of him or tear him down, because if you don't have it, you don't have it. Look at Chavez Jr. You see? Same thing. And what happened with him, he got worse. Not as a fighter, but outside the ring.
He got worse.
With the antics and doing this stuff, drawing unnecessary attention to himself, disgracing the family.
Yep.
You know that Julio Cesar Chavez is one of the most revered fighters in Mexican culture. So it's like, why were they continuing to stick this kid who is really, he shouldn't even get the attention or whatever, but they kept doing it to the point that a meme of Chavez went around with him looking like this,
that was
being
bad.
disgraced. I mean, why see? And this is America. In other countries, they haven't always taken our lead and stuff, but they're kind of starting to take our lead in this kind of foolishness. But there are other places in the world where they kind of be like, hey, let's get away from that. But like I said, I just run off several names to give you examples. This stuff is happening. It's for real. And there's some men, they're not cut for this. And there are some who are. And it's very unfortunate, because there are a lot of fighters out here who deserve the notoriety and the following and everything, because they're putting it to the test, and it's okay. But Nico, he shouldn't be out there either.
100%, man. Did y'all forget what happened with Jermaine Taylor? Y'all forgot about him? I mean, it got so bad for him that he started bugging out in his personal life. You know what I mean? And
a lot of his own family members, he was getting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was crazy. They go four corners, salute. Yeah, man. It was bugged out, man. So when I say that I don't like how Jared Anderson's moving, this is not coming from a place of hatred. I'm saying that he moved a certain way that I didn't appreciate, and now it's reflecting his behavior outside the ring, it's reflecting his in-ring performance. And we're finding out that as big of a man he is, no Oscar, he's really a big baby. And we all know that boxing is a mentality. Either you have it or you don't. I don't think he does. So before he gets hurt, he need to get the hell out the game, man, because all these guys, I just ran down a whole, like a lot of the future of the heavyweight division. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Right now, it's in the UK's hands. They got some hitters over there. They got some serious hitters over there. And I don't see this kid, our American heavyweight, and Jared Anderson, he ain't beating none of those guys. He's just not. And I never trusted him. So now, before he gets hurt, from what I saw Friday, nah, brother, pack it up. All right. Maybe you can cash out with a Jake Paul fight. Get yourself a couple of more mil. Get out the game, brother, before you hurt yourself. You're a father now. Speaking
of that, we talk about Nico Ali Walsh. How do you think he feels now? Because I think Top Rank is about to let him go. But remember, Jake Paul offered him a few million, and he turned it down. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah, he's trying to be a real fighter. And again, this is no shade. Sometimes the second generation fighters don't pan out. Every now and again, then you'll get a Floyd Senior and a Floyd Junior. Sometimes the junior will be better than the senior. I'm still not sure what we got with Tim Tszyu as a reflection of Costa Tszyu. I don't know, but he has more second generation. He has the most talent out the bunch. You know what I mean? But Nico Ali, they pimped that name. And like Stormy said, it's a disgrace at this point. So if he gets let go by Top Rank, who's picking him up? Who's picking him up? Saudi? What are they going to do with him over there?
Listen, there's another fighter that is being overlooked through all of this, and he's been surviving and thriving. Even during this week, his name was associated with some happenings, but he's definitely of this cloth, and that's Teofimo Lopez. I want you guys to pay attention, because the DNA never lies. Why do you think he's not fighting his contemporaries? They angled themselves to get in a position where they struck some gold. The Comey fight and then the Loma thing. I don't know if they knew that Loma was injured and took the fight. I don't know, but it looks real funny. And then wouldn't give Loma a rematch. Understand that. Then he fought Kambosos, and Kambosos wasn't supposed to win, remember?
Isn't that strange?
And then he wouldn't give Kambosos a rematch when Kambosos was offering him, hey, I'll give you a chance to get your belts back.
Yep. Strange, right?
He stayed away from Ryan. He stayed away from Tank. He stayed away from Devin.
He barely beat Nakatani. Nakatani.
Well, no, I thought he lost that fight. I thought he lost the fight against Nakatani.
And then watch this, Sandor Martin. Remember that?
Yes. I thought he lost that fight.
Yeah, I was like, so wait a minute. Are y'all really paying attention to Teofimo?
Top Rank kept him because the Dominican support and everything. It's like, okay, we can do something with this, but he's not that good. He's not. He's flashy. He's athletic. That's fine. But that doesn't mean he's a fighter. You should be able to define a fighter. When you see a fighter like that kid, Abdullah Mason. That's a fighter. And he's seriously a fighter.
Yeah.
And he looks better than he probably is because the landscape all around him is so freaking poor. You've been fed that some of these guys are better than they are. Right. Some of them have even gone on to become titleists and hold on to titles. But that doesn't make them good fighters.
That's right.
When is the last time T.O. fought?
Last August, I think.
And as opposed to the last time you heard the latest soundbite from him. You see, that's what it's become. And so now with what's taking place over in Riyadh season, and I have to say this, it shows you the difference, because when you have the people who are signing up to get it on and get down with it, boxing moves like this.
That's right.
all that talking on social media and posting lives and videos and going on people's platforms, giving interviews, talking crap. That's all. If you want to be an entertainer, be an entertainer. That's cool. But leave my sport of boxing alone. Because you
look at Gano's comment. And that was the biggest, that would have been the most money he made, and it would have been pay-per-view.
Subel Matias.
Yep.
Come on now. That was there. And you know what? That would have did numbers at MSG, bro. You know what? They may, do you think, because of the Super L, do you think they'd have to put it in the big room?
It depends. I think they would have. Because as long as they could guarantee 10,000, they'll do it. So I think that's the threshold to having it upstairs.
That would have been dope.
Somebody told me this weekend, because I was asking why this fight was not upstairs when because usually they have another event upstairs, but there was no event upstairs at this one. So but they said the threshold is 10,000. They didn't think they could get 10,000. So
the boy done turned down so many opportunities, man. Listen, he can get a job as a housekeeper for Hotel 6. He can go in there and turn down them covers on them beds and blankets in the damn motels, because that's what he doing.
That's right.
He ain't stepping in the ring with nobody. He's not.
He ain't that dude, and he had nothing but space and opportunity. How many times did he put off George Kambosos? And then when he finally fought him, he laid an egg right there in MSG. He laid an absolute egg. He's doing cartwheels in the ring on the empty arena, bro. I mean, it's disgusting. But let's move on to that's what we got on Jared Anderson, man. Should have get off the pot. I think you need to get off the pot before you get yourself hurt, young man. Let's talk about Xander Zayas. Boricua. Let's talk about Xander Zayas, man. Well, I'm gonna go to you first, Thomas. What your thoughts?
I mean, I like that he got him out of there. I still think he needs work. You know, a lot of people are very critical of him, and I think it's rightfully, you know, I think it's justified. He definitely has room for improvement. He's not boxing, in my opinion. He's you know, he's too on a straight line at times too. And he's going in there trying to get guys out of there, rushing it, and not trying to really, you know, work, you know, and you know, because I guess the fans, you know, the Puerto Rican fans, they want a star already. They want somebody to come out and be that next Tito, that next Cotto, and
you know the city needs one by
that's
June.
How we are.
You know we need one by June for the parade. Yeah, you know we need one. You know that.
We definitely do, and he could be it. But, you know, he's been getting a little criticized. And I think it's been justified. And I thought he had a good performance. He has to work defensively. He has to work on his jab a little bit more. He did get caught, I believe, in round 3 or 4. Yeah, I don't know if anybody noticed it. And he wobbled a little bit there. He was, you know, but he fought through it. And he actually came up strong in that round. But still, you know, when you fight a guy that's a big puncher, this guy wasn't necessarily a big puncher. I think he had 20 wins, only 9 knockouts. So, you know, he's got work to do. I mean, I know they're going to rush. They want to put him in a title fight this year. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's to say. The only one I would – Fundora is a guy I know he could beat. I'm not sure about –
You going to put him in with Fundora? You think so?
I think Fundora is a guy that he could beat. He's number 1. He's ranked number 1 in WBC, and I believe in the WBO. So
bad move.
Fundora has a title fight against Booker. He's a title fight. Which is not going to be an easy fight for Fundora, especially the time he's been off. But, you know, they're going to see what happens with Virgil, I guess, also. So, but they definitely want to line him up. That's what they said at the press conference, that he's going to get a title shot this year. So that's what they're pushing for.
Well, Charles Conwell is floating around out there. They're going to finagle him around him. Absolutely. Because I think Conwell puts the beats on Xander.
I think so, too. Right now,
but damn, bro. I understand the marketing, but I don't think it's safe.
Yeah, and I, you know, I'm a big Xander fan, and I'm biased when it comes to the Puerto Rican fighters, but I don't want to see him fight Conwell right now. No way. He's not ready.
They won't. He'll mess up the back.
It definitely would.
Back to Xander.
Yeah.
I honestly think so. Stormy, your thoughts on Xander Zayas?
As Thomas said, he needs a lot of work. He really does, but he has youth, and a spry athleticism that assists him with things, but he doesn't turn his punches over, which means that a lot of his punches are like slaps. Okay, but that can be improved. I think they're trying to move him a little too fast as far as trying to get a title. You want to turn him into a fighter who can win against different styles, and I'm definitely always been a proponent of that. It's like there are guys like he had advantages over his opponent Friday night that you're not going to see a lot, but also there's something I saw that he does when he gets in a little trouble or whatever. He loses discipline and he throws low blows.
Yeah.
And in that fight, the reason that the fighter got stopped with body shots is because of the low blows that led to the body shots and stuff. You see, he wasn't given proper time to recover from that kind. Xander was hitting that man low several times. And one point it was really low, and then even the ref tried to justify it. You're pulling his head down. No, when the ref was on the other side, Xander was cranking up that left hook to the crotch. He was. Go back and watch the fight.
I was blatant.
Why didn't it happen when the ref is on the same side as Xander's left? Each and every time the low blow landed, the ref was on the other side or behind the fighter. You see, but you're not supposed to be smart enough to figure these things out. And I don't like who was that ref? I had said his name. It wasn't Thomas Taylor. It wasn't that guy. It was a different guy. But a house ref for ESPN and Top Rank. I don't like those guys when they're fighting in California because they make sure that the lead names on the card always have the advantages. I've watched them a long time. The only one who doesn't ref the fights like that is the little short guy. That's the comedian. What's his name?
You know, the black dude. He's a comedian. Thomas. What's his name?
Willis. Is it?
Yeah,
he was there too. He was there. He ref. I'm surprised he didn't do one of the big fights, the main event. Exactly. But he was there. He did ref.
You were surprised that he didn't do one of the big fights. Why? Yeah. Because they put those guys in those fights. Yeah. Stop being so naive about it and recognize it for what it is. I would rather have Steve Willis in there refereeing those fights because you're going to get something fair and square. Even a couple weeks ago on the Clarissa card, when he was refereeing those two apes who fell out of the ring, he refereed that fight like a champ, even though it was a bunch of crap.
Well, I didn't think he did a good job in that fight, though. But I mean, that was a difficult fight.
What I'm saying is, he tried to keep it engaging. He didn't want to stop anybody, but they were horrible. Yeah. They were. You know what I mean? But that don't fall on him. That falls on the matchmakers. Yeah. Because you put him in a position like if he stops the stuff, people get mad and everything, and they want to throw stuff. And you see what I'm saying? Yeah. But they put that together. If I had seen either of those guys prior to that match, and then he get wind of them coming in to face each other, I'd be like, oh no, this is about to be, a spectacle. But I digress. Xander, he has a ceiling, and it's not very high. I've seen fighters that were more talented and achieve a little more in less fights, but they didn't have extended, like Fernando Vargas. Fernando was a good fighter, but they rushed him too. Yeah. And they rushed him into a situation that, because once you take that step across that threshold, you can't go backwards.
Right.
And now it's incumbent upon you to be expected to perform. He needs to get in the gym, get serious about how he's boxing and everything, but there is a limit to him. I don't see what some people see for him. I just because First of all, the guy that he fought, the guy couldn't crack enough to really hurt him, but he was hitting him a lot. That's not good.
Let me say something. One of the brothers, Kevin in the chat, he says, "Can someone explain the size difference in gloves and Zayas fights?" Has anyone noticed? And Connor said he noticed it. I didn't notice. They had different size gloves. I didn't notice it. Something was going on with the gloves. You saying did Zayas have bigger gloves or smaller gloves?
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. Yeah.
Oh boy,
I didn't notice that. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to that.
Yeah,
I wasn't necessarily paying attention.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check because I took some video. I took some video of a couple of rounds in that fight, so I could probably close up on it. But I didn't notice it.
Fighters who throw low blows though to get out of difficult situations or to create a distraction or a diversion, so to speak. Fighters who do that is very telling. And he did it a lot during this fight. So that meant that Slava was kind of giving him some issues mentally.
Yeah.
Drew, you remember you were telling the story once about how the coach in the gym told you how to cheat with the gloves.
Gloves and the wrist, yeah.
I've talked about Katie Taylor and people like that over there from Ireland, Josh Warrington, fighters who, when their skills are at their maximum or whatever, their coaches and trainers also teach them little tricks to thrive and survive in the sport. In other words, if you might have somebody that's a little faster than you, more fleet foot, may have power or whatever, it's like, I'm gonna teach you some tricks to help keep you in the game. The head butts, the shoulder butts, different things, low blows, elbows, at inopportune time for the opponent, but you know that you're doing it. That's why you don't sustain the injuries that they do. You see what I'm saying? You got people out here who coach and teach like that. If you got good coaches that teach properly, none of that stuff will ever matter. You will be able to fight through it. But I'm gonna tell you something. There's also a certain frame of mind that a fighter needs to have. I use the example of Holyfield versus Dokes just a couple of days ago in my live stream. And I talked about when Michael Dokes came out fighting Evander Holyfield. I think that was Holyfield's second, if not third fight at heavyweight after being the undisputed cruiserweight champ. And Dokes was still good at that time.
Right.
Dokes immediately went on attack and was hitting Evander with low blows. And a couple of times he hit Evander low and, you know, ref was like, keep him up or whatever. Then one time he hit Evander low and the ref actually had to call time and say, hey, keep those shots up, you know, and Evander went and pulled his trunks down a little bit because sometimes his waistband could ride high across his stomach, but he pulled the trunks down and Evander said, to hell with this. And he let go a left uppercut to Dokes' privates. Boom! Dokes didn't throw another low blow.
That was the end of that.
And he knocked Dokes in the seventh round. Yep.
And he knocked.
See, all of that was supposed to keep Evander distracted.
Right.
But you know what? You can hit me hard. You can hit me with an elbow or whatever. As long as I know I can get you back and do the same thing to you, it's on. But those low blows, because the low blows will sap your stamina, your legs, and everything. And when you got a ref that's kind of letting it go, you got to do something, even if it means that they take a point from you. But I guarantee you, the other guy is gonna stop. What was that fight, Drew? That what's his name? Refereed, where he just let the guy hit all those low blows, and then he ended up.
Oh, that was Abner Mares and Joseph Ibeco.
Yeah, the referee though.
The referee. That's the son of a bitch that had the assignment for Fury and Fury and Wilder. Yeah. On short notice.
That referee should be banned for life, because that man just kept hitting the guy below the belt, kept hitting him. The man probably shouldn't have children after that.
Mora is his name.
Yeah. Sergio Mora.
No, not Sergio. Was it Sergio Mora? No, Sergio's a fighter. But I know,
Oh yeah, Sergio is the fighter. Forgive me.
but it was Mora. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, this is what I'm talking about. When you know what you're looking at, I mean, come on, man. You gotta cut this stuff out of the sport, and you gotta be able to call it on scene, on spot, immediately. And if you got a fighter in there that is happening to, you send your fighter out there to take care of business.
Damn right. So let's rock and roll. Yeah. So all right. Before I move on from Zayas, what do you? I don't know what he does in 2025, but he got to get in there with a name. How would you rate him? Like right now?
I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. He got the guy out of there eventually, you know, and that's what everybody wanted to see because his last two fights went the distance. I'm nice. I might be overly nice. I'll give him a 7.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Stormy, what you got for him? Like, 2025. What do you think?
7 out of 10 is pretty good. That's about on par. And at the super welterweight division, listen, he's and I heard a lot of his pre-fight interview. He talked like he got that Shakur Stevenson thing, like he's the best fighter on the scene or whatever. And he talked down some really good fighters in that division that will really show him some tricks. Yeah. Like the guy that beat up on Tim Tszyu. They better keep him.
I was saying that's a good fight for him.
They better keep him away from that guy because that guy destroys him.
Yeah. And I pointed that out too early on. I think it was on Shower's Live. That he was talking a little bit. He was a little bit more arrogant at the press conference than usual. He was talking a little trash. Never really heard Xander talk trash, but he was talking a little bit of trash, and he was kind of arrogant. At least that's how it came across to me. And I was just like, wow, I never really heard him really talk any shit, So
I don't know. If you're going in there and you obliterating people and people that have a reputation that, oh, you beat that guy, that's a good win for you. He ain't even had no fights like that yet.
No, he should have. Everybody was upset with him last year. He should have stopped Teixeira, and he didn't. And that's where it kind of first started, with people kind of like saying like he's not it,
Right. Right. I think Tim Tszyu is a breakout fight for him. Would Tim Tszyu's team be okay throwing him in there with him? I think, to me, I think Tim Tszyu beats him, to be honest with you. Tim Tszyu just ran into some kryptonite, and there's some killers at 154. 154 is a very fun division. So I want to see at this point, don't give Xander Zayas the the Jared Anderson treatment. Don't drag them along just for our eyesight. They can't afford to do that now because after this year, ESPN is done with Top Rank.
Yeah,
they're done. So you got to get this kid some fights. Tim Tszyu, I don't think he beats Tim Tszyu. I
think he beats Tim Tszyu. I think Tim Tszyu is done. Honestly, I think they did him an injustice in the Fundora fight, and I think it's downhill from there. They should have stopped that fight, and I think his team really messed him up.
Which is why this is a comeback fight for him.
No, that's not a good comeback fight for him.
No?
If Tim Tszyu was going to fight a comeback fight, it should be a guy like Slawa who Xander fought. Mm-hmm. That would be a good comeback fight for him. Yeah. You don't throw him in with a young lion. He's been fighting lions. Now you're just going to put him in there with a younger one who's faster, who can move, and he's going to have to try to track down and all of that. See, when Tim was the world titleist, okay, and say if the bad stuff that happened to him didn't happen and he's here now, if you want to put Xander in there, you would see Tim Tszyu handle the business. Mm-hmm. But he has run into some things, and what Thomas just suggested is very important to understand. You don't understand what the psychological damage has been done to Tim because he was made to go through things that he shouldn't have even had to go through. And the coaching, the preparation, the Fundora fight, that fight should have been stopped because of the cut. That should not have went when it went to that round where they say you if it goes to the fourth round, that's when you could stop it. They should have went to the cards and just said, hey, we want to, you know, and he probably would have got a non-decision or something, or even I thought he was still up at that time. He could have gotten the decision, but Fundora wasn't going to get the decision or win. It would have been no contest or something like that. Fine, great. But the other fight that Tim fought against this Russian guy, listen, in that first round, what it was when he got dropped and everything, when he got back to the corner, they did not give him proper instructions and everything, because what he was supposed to do was not go in there and pull his guns out too. He was supposed to go back in there, take a few rounds to get himself back together, and turn this into a boxing match. 2 reasons. You're not at home, and the guy is coming at you because he's trying to make a name for himself. So he's anxious. He's really ready to show the world what he got, but you don't give him a chance to unholster his guns. This is how a cerebral coach can get you to a place, because the fight starts after a few rounds. No, he tried to go in there and fight fire with fire and didn't know nothing about the guy, and the guy blazed him.
Well, here's why I said
one last thing. And even in the post-fight, he was, when they were interviewing him, he was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. He didn't have any answers. And the reason that he didn't have any answers is because his freaking corner didn't have any answers.
Thank you. And here's why I said what I said. 100% spot on. Here's why I said what I said. At this point with Tim Tszyu, there's no light work because his people already put him on a damn pedestal. That's their fault. So I'm thinking like how they're thinking. Yeah, he got a KO loss, but he's still a rock star. So with that being said, that's why I said there ain't no light work. I'm thinking like how they're thinking. Go on and throw him on in there with Xander Zayas and see what happens. Because they think he's a rock star. And that arrogance got his ass kicked. He had no business. They were supposed to stop the Fundora fight. They didn't do it.
Yeah.
Then he got in there with Borochuk, and damn, that was bad. That was bad. That might be the fight that damages him. But to get back in the saddle, they're not only trying to, I guess, they're trying to save his career while keep him busy fighting notable names when you don't need to do that. So if you're gonna do that, Xander Zayas, that's a good come-up fight for Xander, but also it's a good comeback fight for Tim Tszyu. And they got to make a move now because Top Rank's about to be done on ESPN for the regular eyes to see. So that's the type of time I was on, you know. But Xander Zayas is who he is, and Conor, if he gets in there with Charles Conwell, it's going to be a mismatch. It's going to be so bad because I hold Charles Conwell to such a high standard, man. That dude is nice, man. That dude is nice. And salute to TD Harden in that super chat. Michelle, he said, what Holyfield did is called taking care of your own business. He didn't leave it up to nothing. He said, all right, I got you. Tiger uppercut in the groin. And it was over with. That was the end of that. So
Conwell may be a James Toney-esque fighter of this era. He very well may be. We need to see a little bit more of him. But I hear what Kano is saying about him. I kind of feel strong about him in that way too. And he's the kind of guy that gets better as the rounds go on. Because he's picking up on what mistakes the other guys make, what he can touch them with and stuff like that. And then he closed the door on these guys. That's experience. That's when you know how to fight. Because it's not always about just going out there, banging somebody and getting them out of there. Right. Sometimes you draw a guy make him do certain things. You can test him and I hit him right there in that spot. He didn't like that too much. So you go over here and start doing something else to him and come back to that later. See, and he didn't even know that you set him up. He don't know that you laid traps for him and stuff like that. That's what I see in a fighter like Conwell.
Charles needs some opportunity, and I'd like to see it.
Well, he should be getting a title shot, Conwell. I don't think you're going to see Conwell and Xander because I think Xander's going to try to get a title opportunity because he's ranked 1 in a couple of the sanctioning bodies. So I think what they're trying to do is June. We know Puerto Rican Day Parade here in New York. I think they're trying to get him, the title shot here in Madison Square Garden, maybe upstairs this time. And he kind of in the press conference, he kind of insinuated that he's hoping that Virgil wins his next fight because he's hoping that, that that'll be a fight that they can make. I just don't think Virgil wins. I think Virgil's going to lose his next fight.
Virgil is in some deep doo-doo. I'm gonna tell you.
He's kind of rooting for Virgil in this fight. He didn't say it in those words, but we knew what he meant.
You can get him. He can start buying some get well soon cards. Yeah,
that's hilarious. Let's get to Abdullah Mason, man. I like it so far. Thomas, I'm gonna go to you first, man. Abdullah Mason.
He's a special talent. I like him. I like his team. I like his father. It's a family. It's a family thing. They're all there. They're all working together. And I like his energy. I like, his poise. He showed his poise in the fight before that when he got dropped twice. I think he showed great poise getting up and finishing the guy. I think he's special. And one of the things, I don't know what everybody's talking about it, but he said it there, and I heard him say it. There's no handshake deals with any of these guys unless they're blood brothers, and all his blood brothers are in his corner. He wants to fight everybody. So
I love it.
I really like this kid. I like him a lot. I think they're going to try to get him a fight in Cleveland. I think he deserves it. I'm hearing who's the guy? Cabrera, the guy that fought Pitbull a couple years ago and he got robbed. Giovanni Cabrera. I think they're trying to set him up there. That's a good fight because that guy's
Freddie Roach, man. That's Freddie Roach guy.
Yeah, he's pretty good. So they're moving him up. I think they're moving him up the right way. But he wants a title shot already too. So I think he's going to be in the top 10 now after this weekend, and I'm with it. I like this kid. People like him. Huh?
A title shot right now?
No, not right now. But he wants it. I don't think they're going to put him in a title shot, but he wants a title shot. He wants to be a champion.
Stormy, your thoughts? I see you, Tay. I see.
Yeah,
because they were ripping Abdullah after that last fight. They were ripping him. I was like, chill. You know what I'm saying? I was impressed.
Well, he fought a guy from the Bronx. All right, so it was tough. He fought the guy out here at Grand Concourse.
Yup. Now you got to say it like how everyone else say, Grand Concourse. Grand Concourse. Grand Concourse.
Oh man.
Listen, man, the kid has ability, he has preparation, he has intention, he has the psyche. He looks in tremendous shape for his age. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to that. He's in shape like he's a 25 to 27-year-old fighter. You can see certain things in the body, you know what I mean? Which means that, he's getting that work in. He's getting the proper conditioning. He's getting the proper nourishment and things like that. And he's only going to get stronger because he is so young. Yeah. But my thoughts on him is I can see that they recognize the landscape of what I was talking about and have been talking about. All these guys that don't want to fight, all these guys that are just kind of hanging around in the sport, taking up slots and spaces and things of that nature. And then he's going to come in and start checking off the list. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but, you know, Shakur tried to come around and befriend him too. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, you know, this, and they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, they'll dap it up with you, but, you know, okay, go ahead on with that, bro, because we're coming for you. Huh? I like that.
Yeah.
I like that because you know what? That era is passing, and it's passing fast. These guys have squandered opportunity for legacy and legitimacy over just trying to stand pat and rob the public. I've always said the wheel turns. Just like in the NFL, you have a nice little receiver or a running back and sometimes a quarterback. And then out of the draft comes somebody else that can really turn your team around. And you draft that guy and put the other dude on the trading block. And next thing you know, you in the Super Bowl next year or something. You know what I'm saying? It happens that way. But in boxing, it happened slower because in boxing, eras are defined about who's at the top that the sport markets. And like you use that phrase, the face of boxing and all of that. And for so long, it's been, they tried to give you Canelo or everybody that's not Bud Crawford, even though it's been Bud Crawford the whole damn time. Mm-hmm. And Crawford told you guys when he was going into that fight with Errol Spence, he said, I'm going to prove that this is my era. He said that. And the real reason that he really wants to fight Canelo, because if he whoops Canelo's ass, whose era will it have been the entire time? See, some people are looking at, oh, he's looking at cash out. That's the money bag and grab and this and that. No, he knows about legitimacy and he knows about legacy. Why was it okay for Canelo to be looking at Errol, but it's not okay that he's looking at Crawford now? Why? Explain that. I'd like to, you know, really hear some solidness on that because, you know, it really don't make much sense when you think about it. So guys like Mason, I'm enjoying that because it's getting back to what boxing was in the previous era. The previous era of challenging who's the best. Huh? And it's about, hey, even if I lose to this guy, I got in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot of pride in that. You can go to a restaurant and got your butt beat by Jai Opataya, and people be like, hey man, this dinner's on us. You fought your butt off in that fight, man. Wish you could have won it. You know what I'm saying? Rather than, man, why don't you fight the guy? You see what I'm saying? It's a big difference, man. And we live in a society that people are not being challenged, where demand is put in for you to be the best that you can. Don't come in here sauteing. You're supposed to start work at 7 a.m. and here you come at 7:10. Huh? And he's like, can you make it to work on time tomorrow? Yeah, I'll do my best. And 7:12 tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Huh? That's unacceptable. You're fired. You see, when you do that, then people say, oh, they ain't playing. Let me straighten my act up. Or they'll just be out on the curb. Hey, brother, can you spare $1? Huh? Because that's what separates. You gotta make a demand on somebody. You either give me your best or get out there with the rest. And that's what Mason is bringing.
I like the first thing I noticed is his support system and the fact that they're blood. That speaks volumes. And I know some people got strange relationships where you have family members that are not just that are not that tight. I don't see that with him. So the support system is there. His last fight, when he was dropped twice, if you look back, he didn't do anything wrong. Dude just punched around his guard twice. That's all that was. But I was impressed about how he rebounded. He rebounded and kept calm.
Yep.
That tells me. Now, I need y'all to understand something. We don't know how Shakur is going to react if that ever happens to him in his career, because it might not happen. But we don't know how he's going to react. What if Shakur get hit and he starts running all around the damn ring? You know what I mean? We know, we can say what happens when Mason gets dropped. He gets up. He puts on his thinking cap. You know what I mean? So when that fight was over, I was like, you know what? I'm impressed with this kid because he stuck to the game plan. When he went back to his corner, if you remember, go back and watch the last fight. There was no panic in the corner. They explained to him what was going on. He was receptive, and he listened to his corner. And I said, you know what? I like this kid. So far, so good. And his performance on Friday was very good. It was very good. Now, there was something done on ESPN that I didn't like. They put his picture up next to Tank Davis. And they started talking about, you know, the similarities and the accomplishments. And he's a fighter. Of course he's going to say he can whoop everyone. But here's the deal. Don't do that to this young man. Don't have him in the ring with some guys that he's just not there. You know, we like what we see. So far, so good. But don't rush this kid. Let him develop. I like what I see. Let him develop. Let him get a few more looks. Because right now, because I started seeing what people writing online. Oh, man, I think he smokes Tank. Stop. Wait a minute. In my opinion, putting him in the ring with Tank Davis right now. Do y'all remember what happened when they threw Erickson Lubin in the ring with Jamel Charlo?
Yeah.
Y'all remember that shit? First round. And Erickson was the hammer. And he has a chance, and he's going to test him. Bing. Fight's over. He was not ready for that. He's not ready for that. Don't rush this kid. I'll know when it. Don't give me 10 fights where he's fighting guys that you know he's going to beat. Don't do that either. But don't rush this kid. It's perfect how it is. All right? That last fight, not this one Friday, the fight before last. That was damn good because I got to see how he acts under pressure.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I loved how he learned. And again, go back and watch it. The guard was up. Dude just slipped. It just went around the guard. That's all it was. It happens. When Kovalev fought Andre Ward, when he got knocked down in the first round in that first fight, Andre didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Kovalev's punch just landed first. That's all. When Roy Jones got knocked out by Tarver in the second fight, do y'all know Roy didn't do anything wrong?
Yeah,
Roy
a lot of
got
people
caught
say,
in the exchange.
Yeah.
He just got caught in the exchange. When Andy Ruiz got dropped by AJ, Andy just got caught in the exchange. That's it. But Andy got up and did what he did. Abdullah Mason showed that when he's in the gym working, the mentality he has is about 9 feet tall. He has a bigger heart than Jared Anderson, y'all. He has a bigger heart and a better support system. His father ain't marching him to the ring with a damn pimp outfit on. You dig what I'm saying? The quality of this kid. So far, so good. But please, I saw them doing that with the Tank Davis comparison. Don't do that. It's like y'all looking for the next Jordan. Y'all remember Harold Miner? Glenn Robinson? Grant Hill was supposed to be the next Jordan. We had a bunch of next Jordans until we got to Kobe.
Yep.
We had about 5 of them in the 90s until we got to Kobe. And we still ain't got Jordan. Because Jordan never lost in the finals. Kobe did. But I ain't gonna turn to the basketball conversation. But y'all know what I'm talking about. So just let this kid develop, and I like what I see so far.
Yeah, I think his team, they're not going to let him rush into things. Lubin wanted that fight. Lubin wanted that fight early. He thought he was going to knock out Charlo. They were very cocky, very arrogant. They had beef before the fight. It got real personal. You're not going to see that with Abdullah Mason. You know, he got his brothers there. I think his brothers all gonna, are professional fighters as well. I know one of them, Adele Mason, he's a professional, but he's turned to be like the second or third man in his corner. So I don't know if he's gonna go back to being pro, but all of them have pro, potential, and they're supposed to all be pretty athletic and pretty good fighters. The father, nice guy. They talk to everybody. That they're very humble. I know a lot of people don't like when people use that word humble, but they're very humble individuals. They speak to everybody. They're very well spoken. And they're just going along with the process. The father came to me in Jersey, and we was talking. He asked me who I was. I told him, and he said he took my phone. He said, "Where's your?" He looked at my channel, took it. He said, "Sit," and he subscribed to the channel. Like, he's there just to be. He wants to get the exposure for his son. And for all his sons, they're good people, and I like the way they answer their questions and everything. They're very straightforward, and I think Top Rank is doing a good job. I didn't like that either with the comparison to Tank, but I don't think they would rush. They're not going to rush him up to fight a guy like Tank. Maybe by next year, maybe they might put him in there with a Keyshawn if Keyshawn's still at that weight and champion. I can see that happening, because they're both Top Rank, so. We'll see. I don't think they're going to rush this kid, and I don't think they want to be rushed either. I think they like the way they've been moving along, and and they're taking it in stride, and they're very active. They're very active. I think the one thing that they do want is they want to fight in Cleveland. They want they want to fight in front of the hometown, and I think they're going to give that to them eventually.
Tay Jones said he sparred the older one. I want to know what that was like.
You know what's one of the other outstanding qualities that you see with Mason? It appears that they tell him, we got a card coming up in this month. You want to fight on it? And he's like, yeah. It's like he keeps coming back every other top-ranked card. He's basically the most active fighter that they've got on their program. And I like that. I like that.
Yeah. I like that about him. And I was concerned a while ago. I was concerned that I wanted it not to be an Amir Imam situation. Y'all remember that? And he was like, we was just when we was about to like rally behind the young brother, he had a mishap, and then he just like inactivity and stuff. It's like, bro, come on, what's good with you? And he just vanished. I mean, he's still around, but it's like, God, man, come on, bro. This isn't that. This kid is special. This kid is special. I just, I'm glad his family's there, but if I could, I don't see that, but if I could just make a suggestion, don't take a money fight when you don't need to do it, bro. Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it, because there's a lot of names floating around, and all these fighters, they might not say it out loud, but that turkey money is looking good on everybody. And I'm telling you right now, you go over there to Saudi, you're fighting your contemporary, bro. There's no light work over there, bro. It's a video game. You're not fighting no Jacob Jackson. No, you're going over there and fighting all A and B characters, bro. You're not, there's no light work over there.
Yeah, Jacob Jacksons, but Godzilla and King Kong is over there.
They over there. You know what I mean? So just take your time. I don't want this kid ruined, man. It's going so far, so good. So let's go to the main event. Keyshawn, the businessman, Keyshawn Davis, man. What was it like, Thomas? I know VA was in the building.
The atmosphere was the atmosphere. I thought was crazy. I thought it was exciting. I think it was filled up. Security was crazy because they knew, I guess, that it was going to be packed, and they were going to get a large turnout, which they did. But Virginia showed out. Norfolk showed out. Everybody there was there to see the main event. Not just, you had some other fighters on the card that, the fans were there to see, like, Rohan Polanco, we didn't talk about. He had a great performance against a quality guy. He's somebody to be reckoned with. So you had the Dominicans, they were there, and the Dominicans stood there for the night to see Keyshawn. obviously the Puerto Ricans stood to see Xander, and they wanted to see Manuel Lopez's son, Juanmita Lopez de Jesus Jr., and they got a great performance out of him, 1-round knockout. And guess what? They stood to see Keyshawn Davis. Wow. Everybody wanted to see this main event. There was no empty seats, and everybody, for the most part, were on their feet as well, and it was electric. It was just great just to be a part of it, just to be there. And a few seats down was Papoose and Clarissa. I had Kelvin and Keon in front of me, Bud to the left of me. I mean, it's just to be around in that atmosphere. I think it was special, and it was great for a guy like Keyshawn Davis, who's still moving up along. It's only his 13th pro fight, became a world champion, right? Silver medalist, and I thought he had a great performance. He did what he was supposed to do, He fought a world champion. Some say that not a great world champion, or maybe the greatest world champions, but he did what he was supposed to do. That first round, he came in, he was animated and he composed at the same time. And when that round ended, he smiled and he was like, "I got him," and he did. He came in, he dropped him to the body, I believe, in the third round.
Yeah.
And that guy in the second round, Berichek looked defeated already. Like, he was trying to get dirty too.
His nose.
And then Drew texts me and he says his nose broke for his nose bled for no reason.
Yo, I didn't see it. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yo, he's blood was. I was like, yo, when did he get hit in the nose? This shit was crazy. Hit him with the force. He was like, woof.
And it looked like he was trying to time it with the right hand in the beginning. Like, they were filling each other out, and he was and he caught him nicely in the top of the forehead, just kind of missed him flush. And it looked like he was timing the right hand, but then all of a sudden, I guess he saw the body. Now, I didn't get to, obviously I'm in the crowd, so I don't get to hear, when they put Bomac or the corner, I don't know what the instructions were. But my take is that I don't think they instructed him to go to the body. I think Keyshawn saw it himself and said, you know what, I can get this guy to the body. And, he started beating him to the body in the third round, and he dropped him with a left hook to the body, and it was over. The guy was defeated. He didn't know what he would, what to do. They weren't prepared. Look at this guy. That's me with Papoose.
Oh, Mr. Papoose. They did a freestyle right there, y'all.
Yeah, but I didn't want to tell him that I was from the Bronx because, Remy Ma, so.
Yeah, Remy. Don't worry, you know what you're saying, Nick. What you saying?
I didn't want to tell him,
You was a smart man. Don't say that.
So, but I was very impressed with Keyshawn, and I was happy for him as well. And everybody's how they chanting USA, and then they switched over and started chanting, Norfolk, and he turned up and he did what he was supposed to do, and I'm very happy for him. Now he's going to keep the same energy that he had last year. He's a champion now. Is he going to really fight the big names now that he said he was going to fight? Okay. So I think
are the big names going to fight him if he calls them?
Let's see. I want to see if the same energy, if he has the same energy that he had before. That's why I kind of started liking him, And one more thing, let me add this. I know it's not any relevance, but how I knew about Keyshawn before the Olympics, a friend of mine from the Bronx, her name is Kim, real good friend of mine. She was at my wedding and everything. My wife knows her. And she moved to Virginia, and she's a school teacher. She taught Keyshawn in, I think the 6th grade. And she was telling me about Keyshawn before anybody. Wow. So and then I brought it up to Keyshawn last year at the in Newark, and he remembered who she was and everything, and it was pretty funny. It was funny. He kind of clowned her too, but I'm not gonna say anything. But yeah, but he's I mean, he's a likable guy. I mean, he speaks to everybody, and he doesn't toot his own horn. In that sense, he's not arrogant like most fighters. He's very humble. I use the word humble a lot. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I don't know another word to use. So, I mean, he speaks to everybody and he converses with everybody, and, he's not a jerk, so.
I like, I know I gave him hell with the father thing when he went at Fernando Vargas and his boys. But I like the fact that first of all, I'm getting a positive report from you. That's the main thing. The other thing is he's tight-knit with his brothers.
Yeah.
And he's a mama's boy, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it seems, and this is why I would love to talk to him now. If I didn't know better, I would say that he had a positive male role model in his life. Maybe a pastor, maybe somebody at the gym, and he might not even realize it. I like his temperament. He put his brothers on the undercard. That's how you're supposed to do it. And this situation with the fruits and vegetables left at his door, I like how he handled that. I'm old school. I was livid. I was more livid for him. And I was still in a place where, like, well, did he do this? Is this the sell? I don't know. But I know he whooped his ass. By the way, how much do you think he weighed on fight night?
Keyshawn?
Yeah, he was super bigger than him. It looked like an 8-year-old.
He looked big, but he was in shape. That's what I'm saying. I don't know because he didn't rehydrate right away. He was one of the last ones to leave. Like I said in the beginning, like the last two to leave.
No, so, like on fight night when
night. I don't know. I mean, maybe 155, maybe.
Oh, I'd say he was about like 160.
He could have been.
He was big. Like I said,
he looked the same to me that he did it at the weigh-in, though. So I mean,
it looked like an 18-year-old versus a 12-year-old. Yeah. It did. It was bad.
I think it's a good way to tell is I'm gonna check the press conference. Like, so I was filming the press conference right at the side after the fight. So he still like had his his shorts on and everything. So I'm gonna see if maybe looking at that and I could tell. But I don't think he ballooned up that much. He looked like, maybe I would say 155.
155, yeah.
So that's 20 pounds more than 135, right? So
yeah, but like Stormy said, man, Belichick could have got up, but he started counting with the ref. He said, man, he was like 6, 7, why are you stopping? I'm not getting up. Just bro. Listen, he didn't want no more of that. He didn't want no more of that. All right, and if he did send that box of bananas and watermelon, he paid for it. He got his ass beat. That was all bad. But it was that was great, man. That was great, and I loved it. I loved it, man. It was a great performance. It was so one-sided that it made you wonder, like, how the hell did he get a hold of a belt? I mean, Keyshawn, I know they're not talking about his first defense. Man, please. Navarrete ain't beating this kid. There's a lot of people that's not beating this kid. And there's another thing that Stormy pointed out, and I'm gonna let you speak on it. I saw a lot of Bud Crawford in that ring. You can see that Bud is in the gym with that kid working on some stuff. You can see the similarities in that performance. And that is what's making him dangerous. Stormy, go ahead and elaborate on that because you brought that up.
Yeah, a moment ago I was going to say, and don't discount the influence that Bud has around him, because a conversation between coaches and fighters who are being mentored, that stays personal between them. But I can see it. I actually noticed it. I think I've seen him fight maybe 4 times now. So it has to be going back some point last year or whatever. And I said I was watching him fight, and I was like, his back was to the camera and he was doing some things, and I was like, man, he looks like Bud with his posture and what he was doing. And it's like, and I wasn't taking it like he was imitating Bud, but I was taking it like because he's been in the gym with the guy and he's probably watched some things that he's done or has been shown personally certain things and has taken them and made it a part of what he does. And that's very good because it also will help him psychologically when he knows that if he's being mentored and he said, hey, you know, Bo Mack is there and the guys from the B&B camp training gym, and with Crawford, if they're able to tell him, you never got to be in a hurry to do anything. Do it in your time and your space, because when you are capable, when you know, and you're full of the confidence in your own ability, all you have to do is wait for your opponent to make the mistakes, because they're going to make them.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's in the first round, in the middle round, or in the last round. Do you guys remember when Bud Crawford knocked out Benavidez Jr.?
Yeah.
That was the last round when he stopped him. But there was a point, and I told Drew about this, I think it was either the second or third round. The shot that got Benavidez in trouble, he threw that shot in the second or third round, and it just missed him.
It was an uppercut.
It was like a 45. And they were in close, and Benavidez was wide open, and Bud threw that shot, and it missed. And I was like, it was something like, you know, because you watch something and you see a guy miss a certain shot, and you're like, boy, if that landed, you know what I mean? It was one of those moments. He threw that shot, but it missed. Well, the fight went on, and they were mixing it up. They were doing what they were doing. But in the 12th round, boom, he hits him with that same shot. And Benavidez's legs went, and then he jumped on him and had him into the ropes and everything, and the ref jumped in and stopped the fight. It was a last round knockout. I'm like, you see, Crawford had kept that in his memory from earlier in the fight. And they talk about this in boxing a lot. Punches that just missed by a couple of inches early in the fight, 2-3 rounds in, later in the fight, those punches will land because you are much more fatigued. Your hands may not be up as much. Your movement may be slow. You might be compromised with a swollen eye or something like that. Or, you know, it's just little things, which is why you're supposed to compartmentalize what you're dealing with and be able to still come back and return to something. This kid, when he recognized, like Thomas said, that the body was there, not only did he hit him in the body, it was the right type of body punch. He put something on it. That first one that kind of knocked him sideways, it looked like he might have stumbled or whatever. But it was still, if you watch the replay, he dug into that body. It was like all in there. It's like his glove was disappearing into the flesh. But when he caught him that second time, listen, Barincek could have got up, but he didn't want any more of that kid at that point. He knew. You know, that old clip from Menace to Society, you know you done messed up, right?
Hey, yeah.
He knew. That was playing in his head, you know, because he could have got up, like you say, he's counting with the ref and everything. But what was really great was it was a debilitating shot by Keyshawn, and he hadn't even really got warmed up yet. Barincek checked out before the fight could really begin. And he was supposed to be the world champion. He was the titleist. He was the man that was kind of setting the mood for everything, trying to push the young man off the stage at the weigh-in. And of course, we know about the Barincek produce. We know about that. Everything was handled by the businessman appropriately.
That's right.
And it put all of those other lightweights on notice. All of them.
Yeah.
I'm not including Abdullah in that because Abdullah is still coming up. But those other guys who've been around and ain't facing each other and all of that, listen, man, this kid is only going to get better.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think if he moves up in weight, I think he's going to get stronger too. I think I can see a stronger Keyshawn at 140.
Definitely.
This kid is a problem, man. It's a problem for everybody, man. Right now, Lomachenko need to be considering. The longer I stay out, there's more kids coming up. I have to see Keyshawn. 2 years, if I come back with a healed back, Abdullah Mason's going to be here. You know, and then they're going to be asking me to go to Saudi to handle all the business, the unfinished business.
They were trying to hold the door open for Lomachenko to come back. And Drew had talked about this well over a year ago. He said that they were trying to keep the seats and the belts hot for Loma.
Yep.
And the first miscue and boo-boo was when he faced Devin Haney. It wasn't supposed to go like that. But Haney beat him up. Bust his ribs up and everything. So it wasn't supposed to go like that according to their plans. And then Haney, what did he do? He moved on up away from the division and everything. And all the other guys are not keen on trying to unify and become undisputed like Haney had that ambition and goal and desire. These other guys don't. Too many of them are friends, and you know, they got inappropriate relationships with one another and all of that foolishness. And time has caught up to Lomachenko. And then you look, like you just said a moment ago, and you see these other young lions chomping at the bit to get up there. And it's like, man, his best bet is to drop them extra pounds and go back down there to featherweight.
If he does that, he's a sucker.
No, that's where he should have been. Listen, you remember, he made his hay up there at 135 because the guys weren't fighting each other.
Yeah.
And that's how he thrived. He ended up with multiple belts because these guys, look at what Tank Davis, Loma had a career and now none, and Tank Davis was there the whole time.
Yeah.
All he had to do was fight him. But Teofimo, Cambosos, Devin, and who else not? Shakur, all these other people don't come up and become world titleists, and one undisputed, a couple unified, without Tank doing what he was supposed to do. And so Loma he found a space, a safe space, until, like I said, that proverbial wheel started to turn. Because they were holding that seat for him. They really were. Drew, you were not wrong when you were talking about they want to try to get him that undisputed before he retires.
Yeah.
But I think the door has shut on that now.
Right.
Because there's too many good fighters now. You can't.
When I said that, you know who wasn't around? Turkey Al-Sheikh.
Yeah.
He evened the odds. I had no idea who Turkey was, but I said, this is what they're trying to do. If there was no Turkey, they'd have still been doing it. Top Rank would still be doing this crap. Mm-hmm. But Turkey came and evened the odds, and that's why Loma is 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know, and I'm not even checking for him. He's done, retired, dude.
He's done. I mean, he's not going to get another shot at 135. Who does he fight? I mean, he's technically the IBF champ, right? I mean, is he going to actually defend it or what? Nah. The 135 is tough for him. Even if he dropped down some pounds and go to 130, who can he beat at 130?
Nobody.
Can he beat Oshaki Foster?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't beating Oshaki. Yo, listen.
Nope.
It's shark-infested water. He just needs to stay retired and his fans be content about what he could have done.
But I don't want him to see him retire. I want him to pass
his ass whoop.
I want him to get another fight at 135, fight Keyshawn, fight somebody, and then have a nice day. He had a good career.
Him getting beat by another color, it's not gonna happen. Yeah. They won't be able to take that, and that's the name of that tune. But here's what I want you to do. I I want you to invite Papoose to your show. I need you to battle him. I need you to freestyle. Thomas is gonna come on his channel, be on some Bill Havlicek. Bounce balls like Bill Havlicek.
You think I can get Cadillac?
Bronx on deck.
I get Cadillac Red to write my lyrics.
Yeah, get Red to ghostwrite for you. Yeah. I want you and Pap on your next live stream, freestyle. Get you some numbers, bro. That'll be hot.
And no matter what the lyrics is, you got to mix in how you doing.
How you doing?
Yeah. How you doing, Pap?
Mr. Shelton got me with that one. Yeah.
Yo, Thomas, let them know they can find you, brother.
You guys can find me on YouTube. It's TD Sports Talk. Or you could just put in my name, Thomas, and my last name if you know it. Most of you guys have me on Instagram, and you catch me in the chats. I'm always around in the chats and stuff. And we're still trying to do some things and doing some interviews, trying to get my main focus is trying to get some of the younger guys on and trying to put them on get them some exposure. I'm supposed to interview a manager tomorrow that works with Split T, is a good friend of mine. He's from the Bronx. He manages some good fighters, some up-and-coming Puerto Rican fighters, and he has one Dominican fighter at featherweight that I think is going to be a superstar. If not a superstar star, his name is Jan Santana. So he's supposed to come on tomorrow. He's going to talk a little bit about him and about, he's going to give some news that hasn't been kind of released yet about him. So, that's what we're doing. And then, I got a guy, Keith Cologne, that I've been, not helping out, but giving him exposure. And, he's kind of my guy. He's kind of like the channel's fighter, right? Because he's always on, and he's, I go to all his fights pretty much. So,
I've had him on a couple of times myself. I really like Keith. He's a good kid.
Really good kid.
By the way, I was telling Drew about your interview with John Scully. It was excellent, man. You and D Free, you guys really knocked that one out the park too.
Thank you.
So,
we just said giving these guys exposure. John Scully's a good person to have because obviously he trains better BF, but a lot of people don't know, John Scully helps a lot of retired fighters out. Mm-hmm. Like he does a lot of charity work, and a matter of fact, I think he's involved with this charity next March. I'm glad you brought that up because I would work. It's March 30th out in New Jersey, Nutley, New Jersey. They're doing something for Bobby Ches. They're doing a little like a banquet thing for him, and I think I'm going to be attending that. I think Scully is a lot involved. My friends, I got my guy Pedro coming out from California that wants to attend that. So, he's helping because I think Ches is not in good shape. I think I don't know if they said he has cancer but he's not in good shape. So but this is the type of things that John Scully does. So.
Let me know the information on that.
Okay, I think it's March 30th. In Nutley, New Jersey. That's the last night I can remember off the top of my head. So
let me get some information on that, man. Because this is why we do this. This is why we get the word out. Because not all the guys are doing well. The guys we came up watching. Mm-hmm. If y'all don't know, if y'all new here, when we had Angel Manfredi on here, that really blew my mind. Because that was sad. I didn't like that. And this is why we take the sport serious. This is why I don't like cheaters in the sport. I can't stand it. You know what I mean? Because these guys, they choose to do this, and then you got the half steppers that choose to do it, and then they don't want to give you what y'all chose to do this.
Yeah.
At least give us what we require as supporters, man. Stormy, let them know they can find you, good brother.
Everybody can find me right out here on YouTube. YouTube is Stormy B Man in all caps, but no cap.
It is, man. I think the Queens of the Ring should be on. I'll be back talking this boxing junk in the morning, and we got Nerds on Culture tomorrow. We're gonna be talking about the classic Face Off, John Travolta and what's his name?
Nicolas Cage.
Classic. And Thomas, what time is your show tomorrow? You're on mute.
Tomorrow I don't know yet because I'm off tomorrow. Tomorrow's a day off. I'm gonna call him up after this and see what time he wants to come on. So I gotta, he's free beyond maybe, and try to arrange it that my other guys could be on too. So D Free is kind of taking over as my co-host, and D Free does a great job. D Free is excellent. But you know, I have my friend Socrates, who's a strength and conditioning coach, and he has a lot of hookups because he used to write for a boxing website, and he's the one that kind of the plug most cases. But you know, I try to get him on, but you know, so I got to arrange the time, but we're trying to do it tomorrow because he knows a few fighters and he's going to try to get those fighters on, and he translates too, you know. So I want him to tell a story about Sergio Martinez. He helped Sergio Martinez sign with Lou DiBella. A lot of people don't know that too. So I want him to tell the story on the air. So
I want to talk to Lou DiBella because he had a lot to say recently.
DiBella's funny. They say that he's bipolar. Yeah, a lot of people say that he's kind of like bipolar. Nice guy. He talks to you. One thing good about they say about Lou DiBella, he remembers everybody he speaks to. So if he sees you meet him and talk to him, he'll remember you. You know, a year or two later. That's what they said. You know, but they said he is bipolar though. So
now I want the
autistic. That's what it is.
I want the effed up version of Lou DiBella because that's when he's gonna spill all the beans. That's the guy I want to talk to.
Well, Ricardo has some stories about him. He does not like DiBella, and he refuses to get any of his fighters to sign with him. So, yeah, so that's why he tells about the Sergio Martinez story, and then how DiBella not messed up one of his fighters, but after one of his fighters lost, he kind of got rid of him like he was nothing. So, yeah, that's what DiBella does. You know.
All right. Y'all go over to the Queens of the Ring. We'll catch you on the rebound, man. Smash the like button, like and share the video, subscribe to everybody. Bronx on deck.
Move! Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.